In this video from 3 Days and Tres Noches, I'm going to recap the pros and cons from our stay at Excellence Playa Mujeres. Now be sure to check out the entire series that we do on this resort, including a longer, more detailed review of the Excellence Playa Mujeres. So let's start with the pros and the positives. The first, I would have to say, one of my favorite things about this resort was the layout and location. It's located about 40 minutes north of Cancun, and recently we had stayed in Costa Mujeres, which is a little bit further north, and we loved it so much that we wanted to try Playa Mujeres because we loved how quiet this area was, and yet the beaches were still really beautiful. We were also very impressed by the security and the safety at this resort. So even to enter the resort, you had to go through a pretty hefty series of checks and balances to make sure that you were staying there or that you had a reason to be at this resort. The layout of this resort was actually perfect when it comes to something that I'm looking for in an all-inclusive resort. So I like to be able to walk to everything, the restaurants, the beach, the pools. I don't want to have to take a golf cart. And I also don't want to have to walk to the point where my legs and my feet hurt. So everything was very close, yet spaced out perfectly. So once you left your room, it was very easy to find everything. So you could find the lobby, the restaurants, the entertainment area very, very easily. And again, like I said, all within walking distance. And they had restaurants spread throughout the resort, and they had restaurants with water views. They actually had one little bar and grill that was directly on the ocean. And the beach is right there, so you don't have to take a long walk to get to the beach. It's also very private. Like I said, the location of this resort is perfect, but yet you could also walk up and down and have really nice beach walks. The second thing I loved about this resort is that they don't try to sell you memberships or timeshares or anything, so you can completely relax. You don't have to feel like scared every time an employee walks up to you thinking that they're going to try to get you on a timeshare tour, and it really makes the whole experience a lot more enjoyable. Number 3 was their insane selection of premium liquors, even if you didn't upgrade to the club level. And if you do upgrade to the club level, you get even a better selection. So we were able to have Patron, Don Julio, Grey Goose. So it really was a great experience. In fact, I mentioned this in the review that it was one of my favorite bar experiences and cocktail experiences at an all-inclusive resort ever. And number 4 is that Isla Mujeres is directly across from this resort. So you can be sitting in your beach chair and see the entire island. And that is great because if you want to go visit Isla Mujeres, you can get a boat right there from the beach. So you don't have to go to a port. You don't have to go get the ferry. You can pay for the excursion to pick you up right there. Now, we actually took a private sailboat tour as part of the channel, and so that was amazing too, but literally the port was 5 minutes away and the captain came and picked us up. Number 5 was how spacious our room was. It's definitely the largest room we've ever had at any resort. It was a 2-story plunge pool suite, and on the first floor, we even had a jacuzzi tub that had a view. And then when you went upstairs, we had our own personal plunge pool. And just the deck area upstairs was huge. So the last pro about this resort was the service. The service was absolutely amazing. Some of the best service we've ever had. And this was true for almost everybody that we came in contact to at this resort, from the housekeeping staff to the restaurant staff, bar staff, the club level staff, the landscapers. I mean, I could go on and on and on. It really was amazing, the level of service that they provided. And honestly, I don't even remember having to wait for almost anything, from the check-in to the drinks to the restaurants to the club level. All the service was not only amazing, but it was very quick as well. Now, there are more positives, but this is just a recap. So make sure you check out the full and honest review that we do about this resort for more details. Okay, and now some of the negative things about this resort. And I would think the number 1 thing I would have to say that was negative was the food. So I think one of the biggest misses for me was the fact that they did not have a larger lunch buffet. So they have this one at Las Olas, which is right on the beach. It's nice. They have some hot dishes. They had some pizza, wings, fries, and bar food like burgers and things like that. But they didn't really have like a big, huge salad bar. They had some pieces of lettuce and vegetables, but again, it's kind of sitting there right on the beach. So I would have liked a larger indoor lunch buffet because that's usually the largest meal that I have, because knowing that sometimes at night the restaurants aren't that great. And honestly, most people were perfectly happy with this, and it was nice to have right there on the beach. I think maybe I'm just more of a healthier eater, and so even when I'm on vacation, I like to eat a little bit more healthier, and I didn't have as many options here at Las Olas. They also had several restaurants that had a la carte lunch, so you had that option. Then they would serve you at the beach or the pool, which was the same food from Las Olas, and then they did have a wood fire burning pizza oven by the entertainment pool that you could get pizzas. Now, another reason why the food was on the negative side for us was because at night we went to 3 different restaurants and only one really stood out to us, which was the Lobster House. So we went to the Italian restaurant one night, which they actually had really good pizza, but one of their main dishes wasn't that great. And then the French restaurant was just average. However, after reading some comments, I'm not sure if this is the fairest review, because they did say that the Mexican restaurant and the Indian restaurant, which were 2 restaurants we did not get to, were among the best. While the rooms were in the positive side, there was also one little thing that put it in the negative side as well, and that was the lack of privacy from the bathroom to the bedroom area. So I felt like you could see and hear everything that was going on in the bathroom when you were in the other areas of the room. And yes, it is a couples resort, so it's probably not that big a deal, but even couples like their privacy in the bathroom, especially in the toilet area. So just a few small things about the room. So the first room we booked was supposed to be an oceanfront room, but when we got there, it really felt more like an ocean view. So they did switch us closer, a little bit closer to the ocean, but then we were next to the area where they dump the seaweed, which they start the trucks at 5 a.m. So the noise level was loud in the morning. Another negative was the beach conditions, which I know it's Mother Nature, so there's nothing that you can do about that. Again, I'm not criticizing that, I'm just commenting on it. Because I know some people, when they vacation, the crystal clear blue water is a top priority. And we were really hoping for that. So the first day, the water was really nice and clear and blue. But then the next few days, the seagrass came in, the wind started to come in, and it was a little bit harder to enjoy the water. And I know this is a seasonal thing, so if you're traveling between January and April, usually that's the best time to get the crystal clear blue water. And like I said earlier, Isla Mujeres is right across the way, so you could get in a boat and they do not experience seaweed because of the way that the island is facing. So another small note about this resort is that they are starting to renovate this resort, which is actually good because it is starting to show a little wear and tear. However, the spa was completely closed when we were there. So they did offer us to go to next door to Beloved, but it was booked. And I think one of the restaurants was also under renovation. So just make sure you know ahead of time that you call and you know what's going to be open and what's not, so you're not disappointed when you arrive. Which leads me to one other small thing on the negative side, which is the call center. So when you call this resort, sometimes you have to wait 10 or 15 minutes on hold. And then when you do get someone, it is obviously a call center for the Excellence Resorts. So they don't always have all of the information, I feel like, especially when it comes to renovations. So they never told us, they did tell us that the spa was going to be under renovation, but we didn't know that we were going to have an option to book somewhere else, or I would have tried to do that before we arrived to the resort. Now, they will transfer you to the concierge. However, the concierge too did not inform us that we were going to be able to book at another resort. Maybe they didn't know either. They will give you all of the tour information, which they were very quick to email it to me. So just make sure you do your due diligence before you either book this resort, or once you've booked it, call and make sure you know what's going to be open and what's not. Also, if you are a swim-up bar person, I only saw one swim-up bar on site. It was at the entertainment pool. It was a great swim-up bar, but if you're someone who likes to have several different ones, there's only one on site. So in terms of cost, it was the highest that we paid for any adults only all-inclusive resort. However, I will say that we did upgrade to the Excellence Club, and we had the 2-story rooftop plunge pool suite. So we paid $2,800, and I still think it was an amazing value based on that it was all-inclusive, all of the amazing selection of liquors that we had, and just the resort overall. Again, this is just a short recap of the pros and cons of this resort. Make sure you watch the entire complete review that we did and keep an eye out on some more reviews that we're going to do for the food and the drinks, the activities, the nightlife, and that amazing private sailboat tour that we took of Isla Mujeres. If you did like this video, please like and subscribe. We are trying to get to 10,000 followers. And once we do, we're going to celebrate by organizing a big 3 days and tres noches meetup at an all-inclusive resort. So definitely subscribe and keep following us.